Today I'm going to share with you the 5 biggest mistakes that people make when they get a VA. Now, I've been getting VAs in my business for over 10 years and I have stuffed up majorly. So I'm going to share the mistakes I made and the things I now do instead to have grown a business that has a revenue of over $2 million. Now, the first mistake that you can make is looking for the wrong person on the wrong platform. So I'll give you an example. Just say you've got a big presentation coming up and you want someone to help you put the presentation together in terms of making it look pretty. So you go to somewhere like Fiverr or Upwork and you find a fantastic person who's going to help you make it in Canva and make it look really good, and you're off and racing. Fantastic job, well done. The problem is though, when you go back a month later because you need another presentation done and you go to the same platform but you can't find the person, or you find the person but they're too busy, which is understandable because they're on that platform to get lots and lots of work. When you get a VA, you really want them for a role, either half-time or full-time. So for instance, if you wanted an ongoing admin person, they could help you with your emails, they could be changing appointments for you, they could be doing a whole lot of admin stuff to take it off your plate. They would get to know you and your business and be much easier to delegate work to them too. Another mistake that people make is they hire someone and expect that person to grow their business. You are responsible for your business and you're ordinary, someone else is extraordinary. You know your business better than anyone. So you're really the rainmaker and you need to hold that mantle. I mean, at some stage you might get business development people from South Africa to support you with your sales, but I would suggest that it be one of the last things that you take off your plate. So instead of trying to get a virtual assistant to grow your business, you get a virtual assistant to take all the load off you so you can grow your business. Often we start with admin type stuff. So how much time do you spend checking your email, changing appointments because Bob can no longer make that time, posting on social media, chatting to people on LinkedIn, all that sort of stuff can be taken off your plate so that you can focus on growing your business, which is pretty bloody cool, I reckon. The third mistake that people often make is they don't own the strategy. So I'll give you a real life example. Recently, we hired some amazing business development people from South Africa. You know, these women are in their 40s, they've got loads of experience and they're really good at sales. So we set them up with Australian mobile numbers and then we got them on the phones. But the problem was we didn't own the overall strategy. We just went, oh, well, you're salespeople, here's a list, phone the people. But really, what outcome do we want from phoning people? What list do we want them to use? Do we want to get them to phone people to make sure they turn up to our event? Do we want them to phone people who've just downloaded our 10 admin tasks you should never do downloadable from Facebook? Like, what exactly do we want them to do? What outcome do we want them to get for us? And what is our way of doing it? We don't like people being too pushy. We really like to just have really meaningful conversations and help people. So we really need to train our business development people in that approach. So that is an example of owning the strategy. Another example of owning the strategy is, say we got someone to help us with our LinkedIn and we're just like, oh, can you just connect to people on LinkedIn for us and post our content? It's really vague, and again, there's no strategy around it. So to put a strategy, you might say, okay, our target market are business owners based in this particular place in the US, for instance, and we want you to connect to 50 a day. They must have one of these particular titles. They must have director, business owner. Like, you have to work it out yourself, work out that strategy, and then get them to follow it. So you'd say you connect to 50 a day. We're going to post 2 times a week. This is the folder where the content is, and we'd like you to put captions on it and post it, and this is how you do it, and this is what outcome we want from it. So you're sharing the whole strategy with them, and then you're giving them step-by-step instructions or processes for them to follow. So that would be an example of owning the strategy. And this is something that a lot of business owners get wrong. The fourth mistake business owners often make is that they expect too much too soon from their VA. You expect them to hit the ground running when really it's just like any new person starting in your business. So you wouldn't say, can you answer the phone for me? Can you turn these documents into PDFs? Can you put out of office reminder on my email? Can you post on my LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram? So what you should do instead to stop these people getting overwhelmed and not wanting to work with you, just like anyone starting a new role in a business, you would give them some sort of induction so they get to know about you and your business. So you're spending a bit of time with them, especially in that first couple of weeks. We suggest meeting them every morning to let them know what the tasks are for the day or what you want to get out of the work that they're doing. We also recommend a layering approach. So what you would do would start with one thing. So, okay, we're going to start with our LinkedIn strategy, and what we'd like you to do first is connect to 50 people a day say, this is how you do it. This is our LinkedIn masterclass, or this is the documentation around it, or explain to them step by step how you'd like them to do it. So really what you're doing is giving them high volume, low risk tasks. And by that I mean that it doesn't really matter if they get it wrong or stuff up, because it's not going to have huge impact on your business. And once they get comfortable doing that, whether it's after a couple of days or a week or whatever it is, then you would layer it. You would give them the next thing and then the next thing and the next thing. And so that way they're feeling comfortable, they're learning, they're gaining confidence, and they're going to be really, really valuable to your business. So really treat your virtual assistant well and make them part of the team so that they can learn and grow and add more and more value each day. The next mistake people make when they get a VA is they don't communicate well enough. Now, I was guilty of this years ago. It was called Infusionsoft at the time. These days it's called Keep. It's a sales and marketing software. So I got a virtual assistant from the Philippines to help me with this software. Now, I did not communicate well enough with that person, and I hardly met with him. There was no structure in the communication. Randomly, occasionally he'd send me messages asking me questions. I'd take ages to get back to him, and really it wasn't good enough. And the outcome was that in the end, I didn't see the value, and we both got frustrated, and he ended up leaving. And I truly believe that you need to have conversations. You can use really good messaging channels like Slack or WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger or whatever you've got where it's sort of real-time chat, which is fantastic when you want to communicate something to your virtual assistant, either through text or voice memo. But you also need to have conversations with people. And I'm a really extroverted person, and sometimes I still can't be bothered, talking to people. I just want to send them a message because it's easier. But if you want to have a really good relationship with your virtual assistant and get the most out of them, you need to build that relationship by having conversations, and you need to have them face-to-face via Zoom or Teams, for instance. That way you can build the relationship by having a bit of small talk and getting to know them, but also, really importantly, you can touch base on their understanding of what you're asking them to do, and you have that two-way back and forth to make sure that you're both really clear. So when they first start with you, I would recommend having a conversation with them for 15 minutes a day for the first couple of weeks, and also be really clear on what communication channels you're going to use. And then also maybe get them to do an end of day report, what they did, and maybe how long it took them, and any questions that they have. And that gives you clarity around what work's being done and how long things take. Now, you wouldn't do end of day report forever, especially once they become an integral part of your team and they just get on with things and they're really clear, but it really helps both you and them in the beginning. So another mistake that people make is they just have no processes. Now, that might be okay in the business and you might not have a process and you just verbalize it to someone. A really good tip there is to get them to actually document the process. And that way, if they need to go back and do that same thing 6 months and they've forgotten, it's there and they can follow that process. And also, once they grow with your business and you might get another virtual assistant, they're doing more complex tasks, a new person comes in, then there's a process there already that they can follow. Developing processes for your virtual assistant also helps you as a business owner get a lot of clarity, because sometimes there's all this genius in your head and you just do stuff without realizing it. Maybe your virtual assistant is helping you with your accounts with Xero or MYOB. So what is the process there when people pay you late? Is it that they set up automated reminders to your clients, plus they send out text messages? Which comes first? What exactly is the process? So it's really important in your business to develop them so you've got clarity and your virtual assistant has clarity too. If you're getting any clarity or ideas, please remember to click the like button. Now, the next mistake that people make when they get a VA, or actually just before they get a VA, is that they're looking for a unicorn. So they want someone who can do video editing and social media marketing and do their accounts and maybe get on the phone and have all these different skill sets. Now, a real good tip for this one is to go, okay, if this was a role in my business, what would I call this role? And if you're going, well, I don't really know because it's a bit of admin, it's a bit of social media, it's a bit of marketing, it's a bit of accounts, I don't even know what to call the person, then it's a clear sign that you're trying to pack too many different skill sets into the single role. And as we know, unicorns don't exist. So I'm not saying that an admin person who is setting meetings for you and setting up your calendar and doing all that sort of stuff can't do a little bit of social media marketing, but it's a very different brain, someone who's really highly organized and more of an admin type brain versus more of a creative brain. So it's like, what's the primary thing I want to get them to do? Is it that I want the admin person with a bit of social media marketing, or do I want a real creative who's going to edit my videos for me, and then occasionally they might do some other things? So you've really got to be clear on what is the most important thing that you need in your business. And if that was a role, what would it be? And then you try and get someone who's not only good at that, but is going to enjoy it as well. I think that's a really important element because those people stay if they're in the role that's really aligned with their skill set and their enjoyment as well. And again, they can learn and grow in the role, but you don't want someone who's got a numbers brain trying to be creative if that's not their thing. So there you have it, 7 mistakes people make when they get a virtual assistant. There are links in the description to all the websites that I've mentioned in this video. And also, if you'd like to book in with us to have a chat around what sort of VA is right for you and your business, there's also a link in the description. Don't forget to click the like button if you got any value from this video, and we'll see you in the next one.